Hello, and thanks for tuning in for this episode of the AWS Edge Innovation Spotlight. In this series, we showcase groundbreaking innovation and world-class use cases with our partners who demonstrate the power of edge services to accelerate your business. My name is István Pole, and I lead the AWS Edge Services partner business across Europe, Middle East, and Africa. Today, I'm delighted to be here in our London studio with Edith Kovacs, VP of EMEA and Latin America from Accedo.
Thank you for having me.
Great to have you here. And why don't you start by telling a little bit about Accedo and what you do?
Yeah, sure. So Accedo is a company that provides video streaming solutions and services. We have more than 20 years of experience. We partner with media companies and businesses to launch, manage, and grow their sustainable OTT applications.
Excellent. So how did it all start? What was the original driver for the innovation that led to the current stack?
Yes, early on, our founders realized that there is a need to provide video streaming apps. And we were like the perfect company to provide that. They all have experience in the industry. So they started Accedo 20 years ago. The products we have, one is a SaaS product. It's called Accedo One. It's a multi-tenanted OTT services company. It is by default integrated with AWS media services and also CloudFront at the click of a button. We also have other products. We have a single-tenanted OTT service called Accedo Assemble. Also have AWS integration. We can deploy it on the customer's account or they can use our own account. And we recently launched Accedo Compose, which is an AI customer experience and platform experience orchestration platform, where again, we use AWS.
That sounds exciting. So I guess there are a number of different ways, even on AWS, to do media streaming, live streaming, on-demand streaming. But obviously, Accedo is very successful with what you do. So what do you think is the special sauce? What makes the difference?
Yeah, we have always thought about like how can we drive the business and who is the best partner from a technology perspective to drive that business rather than the technology defining and dictating the business.
Right.
And AWS is that core partner for us, both from a reliability, scalability, and security perspective.
This is great to know and great to hear, and this is what we love to hear. But AWS, what we like to see and build is partnerships which have this 1 + 1 = 3 pattern. And this is what we call our better together story, right? You mentioned you are using AWS services and even Edge services, which are very close to my heart. So thank you very much for that. But I think it goes beyond that, and our partnership is successful for a couple other reasons. What do you think makes the difference for our joint customers in this partnership?
Yeah, our customers are doing not just VOD, so video on demand, but they're also doing live events and live streaming. A large challenge there is scalability, reliability, and being able to monitor and having good analytics to understand what is happening. AWS helps us on all of those fronts. For example, we have a customer in Latin America. They have more than 300 million subscribers. They won the rights to the Football World Cup, which means obviously that in Latin America, football is life, right? So you can imagine the pressure on them and on us to provide...
And on us.
And on you, to provide a scalable, reliable, consistent customer experience and end user experience, right? So what we did there is, again, we used CloudFront to make sure that the CDN was serving up the content reliably. They also wanted to not just stream, but also monetize the football games. So that's where, again, we partnered with AWS and used MediaTailor to insert server-side ads, so the SSAI technology. And then successfully, we orchestrated the whole event. And it was a big success for them, both from a customer and end user experience, but also from a monetization perspective.
Yes, I think monetization and financial stability of these projects is super important. Do you agree this is one of the driving factors these days?
Yes, definitely. That's one of the things that is top of mind for our customers. Like, how can we obtain more revenue and differentiated revenue streams to reduce the total cost of ownership as well. The other thing they usually ask us is like, what is the AI strategy they should apply, or how should they think about AI?
Excellent segue to my next question. You're reading my mind. I wanted to ask you about this because these days when I go talk to customers and partners, this comes up in every discussion, right? And for a good reason. And at AWS, we definitely doubling down on helping our customers benefit from this new technology. And I know it is core to your technology as well. So I wanted to ask you, what's your take on this? How do you use AI, ML, and what do you propose to your customers with that?
Yes, so as every company right now, probably, we use AI internally to improve our processes, how information is disseminated within the company, improve our communications and some of our processes, and we use it for automation. But besides that, we were thinking like, what does AI mean for an OTT company, like a media company, right? How does it impact the OTT strategy? How does it change it? We came up with this idea that agentic AI is the future, and we recently launched Compose, Accedo Compose. What it does is basically it can be added to any tech stack. It can act as a data layer for customers that don't have that. But it's basically an AI native customer and platform experience orchestration layer using the data. We think this is the future, where we have multiple different AIs, or AI agents, and composable user experiences that are driven by these AI agents.
Right. If I'm not mistaken, I show a small demo of that, and it's actually a number of agents that you can deploy for customers depending on what they actually need AI for, right?
Yes, and these agents specialize in certain domains. So, for example, some of them just monitor the traffic, some of them decide whether an alert should be sent out or a specific action should be taken. And together, they are the composable platform and user experience. And we can tailor it to our customers' needs based on their data and the business outcomes they're looking to improve.
May I ask what models you use? Did you build your own models, or do you use a third-party model for that?
We use AWS Bedrock.
No, this is the answer that I wanted to hear. Thank you very much. Now, look, you mentioned what you think is top of mind for your customers, but I also wanted to understand how do you translate to this into Accedo strategy? Now you launched a new AI-based product. What do you see the next milestone is going to be for you to cater for those needs?
We think that software and software business is changing. We think AI and AI agents are the future. Any vendor software business, in our mind, should make and shift their offering, their software, their skills into a composable customer experience, make it outcome driven. Accedo's plan is to be the orchestration layer between these different composable AI agents. And we want to partner with the customers to figure out like how to create a composable agentic experience for them, an orchestration layer to drive and achieve their expected business outcomes.
Well, this is very exciting, and I love to hear that you're not trying to reinvent streaming itself, but using AI to improve the experience of your customers with that. Is that the right direction?
Yeah, that's the right direction. We think we can partner with them and create a roadmap together, how to approach this brave new world that is driven by AI agents. And together, I think we can achieve more rather than just reinvent video streaming. Embracing AI will help us get to whole new realms.
Thanks very much, Eddie. This was really exciting and interesting.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it as well.
Well, unfortunately, this is a wrap for today's episode of the AWS Edge Innovation Spotlight. If you are, dear viewers, interested in more success stories and innovation use cases like this, please look for the other episodes of this series. Otherwise, please don't hesitate to reach out so we can connect.